questions and the live chat there, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, we are live. Hi everyone, welcome to this community call regarding the XSGD Gitcoin Hackathon. We have myself, Arnav, I'm working as a developer evangelist at Zilliqa, and we have Hanwin, who is SVP of Ecosystem Growth, and we have Junhao, who is head of engineering at StratSex, which is which is working on Xfers and XSGD. So yeah, let's first of all, let me just check if everything is working fine on YouTube, and then we can sort of take questions. So okay, we have already 9 people that are watching, and we have a couple of questions as well. So yeah, just to tell about the format. So what we'll try to do is we'll try to answer these questions that you're asking on the live chat on YouTube, and then we can also talk about some interesting things if you want. But yeah, if you have any questions regarding what you're building specifically, that's what you should be asking in this call. Yeah. Um, so do you guys have anything to add, Junhao or Hanwin?
Yeah, welcome everyone to the live stream. Happy to be here, and also excited for our first hackathon. This is probably the first time that we're hosting a hackathon, and together with our partner Xfers on this endeavor to create more functionalities, toolings, and the apps that uses XSGD as a new medium of exchange.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Gitcoin Hackathon. Very excited to see what are the things that can be built on top of XSGD, on top of Zilliqa.
Cool. We have, I think, 15 people that are watching right now. Okay, so let me just paste one of the questions here. Just give me a second. Okay, I'll just maybe speak it out. So, is there a real coin burning and not recycling? How much of the circulating supply? Okay, that's not, I guess, related to the hackathon. Okay, there isn't much question. There isn't any question till now for the hackathon. Yeah. There's one question which is there's a lot of startups, investment, and innovation in various cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies. What is the low-hanging fruit, and who is playing long game against regulatory institutions? Um, Maybe Junhao. I guess it's sort of related to the hackathon.
I
So
don't quite get the question though. What does it mean to be playing the long game against regulatory institutions?
I guess what they are trying to ask is that like who are what do you think about regulation for Xfers, and there are so many stablecoin projects like USDT, for example, isn't that well regulated, I
Right.
guess, and XSGD is. So yeah.
We
Right,
can
right.
talk more about the travel rule from your
Right.
perspective. Yeah.
Yes, so definitely one of the things that has recently become hotter is stablecoin and digital currencies in general, right? If you look at the different global central banks like the PBOC and the other central banks, a lot of them are studying releasing their own versions of the CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. And, a lot of the very big announcements by people like Libra, and that has really started to spur on the regulations finally catching up to the scene, right? Like right before Libra even announced the whole Libra thing, not many regulators were interested in talking about regulating stablecoins in general. And now just in 2020 alone, a lot of things have happened, and even travel rule has become something that is very front and center for many stablecoins, right? So one of the things that I'll be able to share is that a lot of the startups outside, a lot of the exchanges, and a lot of the people that wants to integrate with stablecoins, one of the things that they tend to ask when you talk to them about stablecoins, the first thing that they will ask you is whether or not your stablecoin is compliant with regulations. And that is something that has changed since over the last few years, when that wasn't like the first thing that people would ask. So if we are talking about playing the long game against regulatory institutions, I guess that is a kind of poking at USDT. In the stablecoin space, there are a lot of stablecoins, and most of them are pretty legit, right? Okay. What about the rest? What do you all think about this?
Well, Anand, you want to touch more on the regulations with regards to India?
Oh, India. So for India's people are, what I did talk to, a couple of founder friends trying to build something in India. The issue is that people are very scared to launch an INR stablecoin because it's like the Indian government has been so. It's weird. I would say it was first quite it has been quite sort of has a negative stance towards crypto. So people have been scared to launch an INR stablecoin. It's been difficult for people to register for bank accounts, right? So it's launching a stablecoin is like is a next level thing. Even exchanges, bank accounts have been shut down, and even normal. I personally know people who got letter from their banks when when they sort of link their accounts to crypto exchanges and stuff. So yeah, for India, it's I guess there are so many good companies, blockchain companies in India, but it's just that there's so much regulatory uncertainty. So that's why people don't want to launch an INR stablecoin. And also another point is that people prefer USD, to be honest, compared to INR. As a user, personally would prefer to hold in USD or even SGD, which holds the value compared to INR. Because if you look at INR's graph compared to USD, it's been it's been going down for the past few years. So yeah, I guess these two are the main reasons that there hasn't been any INR stablecoin. Yeah.
Let's go to the next question then. Will the new federal digital currencies interact with the crypto in any way? I guess this is talking about CBDCs. Well, what we're seeing from the Chinese government and also DCEP, which is the Chinese version of it, is that they do want to connect with public blockchains, but only for the CNY version. That means basically an RMB. So there's always like if you know about currencies, there's always two types of currencies. One is locally traded, and one that's like externally traded in international scenes for trade finance. And we're seeing that DCP is trying to work on public blockchains in order to enable more use cases within the international realm for trade finance. That's probably because of currency controls that they do have internally. And I would say that probably in probably like it's quite long term. In 4 to 5 years, then you start to see actually use cases coming up between CBDCs, and the ones that are created on the public blockchains. And it's not going to be coming up within the next few years or so. DCP itself, even though it's touted within the whole crypto industry, it's like a big project. Actually, to be honest, it's only in Shenzhen, and it's not real. And a few, I think 3 more selected cities within China. So it's still a question mark for what the future of the project would be. And yeah, it's just not very clear for us right now.
I could add on a little about this as well. One of the things about all the different digital bank, central bank digital currencies are that they are usually built on many different blockchains, right? In fact, there is very, very little information about what blockchain the PBOC has chosen to build their CBDCs. And even in Singapore, we do have the pilot by the government about, they call it the Project Ubin, right? There is also very little information about what blockchains they have chosen, what they have tried with. And most of the times after a lot of the experimentation, most central banks prefer to select blockchains that are non-public in nature. So if we're talking about having some kind of interaction between these federal digital currencies and cryptos, it will require some kind of bridges between the systems. And the fact that most of the cryptos are still in their infancy stages, it will take some time before the bridges will be built between these public and private blockchains.
Yeah, that makes sense. So for the next question, what is the use case of XSGD token? Is there any use case of XSGD in real life? And what are the future planning for the success of project? XSGD will it play a major role in smart cities? So yeah, Junhao, can you take that?
I will take the one regarding smart cities first. So smart cities is something I believe it's something that's touted very much by the Singapore government. They're trying to build what they call a smart city, right? And in fact, Singapore does get touted around the global media about it being one of the smartest cities around the world. One of the things that we have done for XSGD is that we have made sure that the amount of decimals is not stuck at 2. In fact, we have allowed the XSGD stablecoin to have 6 decimals. One of the major things about smart cities and what people want are the Internet of Things, right? So it is important for us to ensure the ability for XSGD to become embedded in smart cities by allowing for micropayments. And that's something that we have already done. Looking forward, by ensuring that XSGD has 6 decimal points. Whether or not it will play a major role in smart cities will depend on whether it's integrated into this Internet of Things. And again, this is one of the things that's really forward-looking. Smart cities has been something that even the country has been talking about for maybe the past 5 years, and we still have some time before we get there. We can hope that XSGD will play a major role in smart cities for sure. Regarding the other question about use cases of XSGD token, this feels like a very broad-based question, and this feels like someone's asking, what is the use case of money? Right? Any form of money, and in fact, XSGD is a form of e-money regulated in Singapore. So whatever money can do, XSGD can do. Is there any use of XSGD token in real life, and what are future planning for the success of the project?
I guess it's for current use cases.
Right. I have a list somewhere. I don't have it offhand. Currently, the use cases, as far as I know, Coinut, Sparrow, and a few other exchanges. We are still working hard for it to have more use cases. Some of the things we are working on getting it integrated into the Zilliqa merchandise pages. We are also working on it to be able to be used for payments. That is something that we definitely want it to be able to do. That is something that we are planning for in the future. What are future planning for the success of the project? So in terms of what success looks like for the project, right now we are still in our early stages. And in fact, the XSGD stablecoin has only been launched for 25 days from today, right? So one of the major milestones that we would like to see is definitely circulation.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I agree. For right now, what we are also trying to do with Zilliqa and Suzhou and Xfers is actually creating uh, something like a forex exchange where Zilliqa itself will facilitate between XSGD swaps with XIDR and also with BNDC, for example. So people provide liquidity at Zilliqa by buying all those stable coins and putting it there to earn an interest rate from the trading fees and also from the liquidity mining. And with the liquidity that's provided for minor swaps, for example, let's say we're talking about $1 to $2 or even like $100, people can actually swap directly within the Zoo swap itself. And it doesn't require KYC, it doesn't require you to go through all this hassle of registering for an exchange and stuff. You just need a wallet and you need to connect your wallet to the Zilliqa protocol, and that's all. So we hope to see more of such facilitating of such transactions going ahead when more stablecoins are getting onboarded into the Zilliqa ecosystem, and then we'll start to see a very interesting flow of transactions between those ASEAN stablecoins. And of course, we're also working on the BUSD bridge, so that could also be a potential bridging for people within uh, people within the United States. They could actually buy some of these stable coins if they want to.
Yeah, I guess some people are asking about will it be acceptance and stuff. I think we'll just come to that in a bit. So I would prefer if the questions are actually to the hackathon as well. So just to give some more context, like Junho, can you talk about how your experience was learning Scylla and building on Zilliqa? I think maybe if we start talking about it, then questions will start being more technical as well. Yeah.
Right. So prior to working on Scylla, one of the languages that during my programming tenure that I have worked on before is OCaml. And that's definitely one of the things that struck my mind, because the moment I looked at Scylla, I realized that the syntax of Scylla was, I would say it's modeled after OCaml, because I see a very big resemblance, right? So in terms of learning the Scylla language, people who have functional languages background will find it easier. After all, Scylla is a functional language at heart, right? So the syntax part was an easy hop. The next part that I would recommend people to be able to level up their understanding and learning of Scylla would be to, well, obviously look at the Scylla README documentation, right? One of the tools that is really important and really makes it much easier is the online IDE. I believe it's called Savant, the Savant IDE. It allows people to write in Scylla, and it's an online compiler that will allow people to write Scylla and play around with the language, right? And just like most people, when they start writing programming languages and when they start playing around with these things like Solidity and the Ethereum blockchain, people can start writing the more simple hello world programs, or the more simple programs like voting on the blockchain or storing data on the blockchain. Then eventually we can start challenging ourselves to write more complex smart contracts on Savant. And that's how I started the journey of learning Scylla.
Okay, okay, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I guess that's the way to go. That's what we also recommend. We also have now. I think since you would have started, we have now more blogs and videos and stuff as well, and some more documentation. But so yeah, I guess yeah, people can do that as well now. But yeah, let's now. I guess people. Let's answer some questions. So, is there any plan to extend stablecoin in Cambodia? Xfers? And yeah, there's another one on will it be acceptable in banks as digital money? Yeah.
Right. I'll take the first question on whether Xfers has any plans to extend the stablecoin in Cambodia. So for the StraightX initiative, this is a stablecoin initiative by Xfers called StraightX, and we aim to become the de facto stablecoin issuer for Southeast Asia. So that is definitely something in our mind, maybe a little bit more in the future. Why? Because currently Xfers is, our powerhouses are mostly still currently in Singapore and Indonesia. So this will be where we will first start to play the stablecoin issuer role. Afterwards, we will start looking at the rest of Southeast Asia. Next, will XSGD be acceptable in banks as digital money as CBDC? So one of the things that we definitely need to keep clear here is that XSGD is not a CBDC. CBDC is a central bank digital currency. The central bank in Singapore is MAS, the Monetary Authority of Singapore. We are licensed under them as an entity, Xfers, right? So XSGD is a privately issued stablecoin, much like USDT, USDC, and Paxos. So in that case, whether or not it will be acceptable in banks as digital money or as CBDC in Singapore and later outside, this is something that we can't control. This is something up to the banks and up to the central bank in Singapore.
It's a technical question, Joseph, like whether XSGD can be breached to Ethereum with the upcoming ERC20 breach. Actually, XSGD exists in the ERC20 format already. That's roughly $1 million in circulation there, and also 1 million in ZRC2 format circulating in Zilliqa. As the question goes to whether these two can actually be inter-exchangeable between each other, that will be through the Xfers portal. So basically, if you have an Xfers account, you can deposit the ZRC2 version into your account, and you can withdraw the ERC20 version and vice versa.
I see a question about someone asking about whether there are real coin burning and not recycling. How much the current circulating supply? Is there a certain amount of total circulation supply going to be locked? Financial statements. There are a lot of questions in this question. So let's tackle them one by one. So if you go to xfers.com, we have a stablecoin page. There is a live tracker of the amount of current circulating supply. Right now, it's hovering around 2 to 2.5 million combined between both the Ethereum and Zilliqa version. Is there a real coin burning? Yes. So if you look at the smart contracts, there has already been burn events. The smart contracts on both Zilliqa and Ethereum are on the website. Feel free to click on it through to Etherscan and view block. You will be able to track the coin burning events. How much is there? Is there a certain amount of total circulation supply that's going to be locked? This feels more like whether tokens will be burned for like ICO tokens, right? So when it comes to stablecoins, I don't think this question is relevant because every single XSGD that is released onto the blockchain is backed by a single dollar in the bank account. So I think it is more related to the next part, which is on financial statements. yes, this is something that we are currently working on. We understand that in the industry standard, people like USDC, Paxos, you have seen their attestation. This is something that we are working on, and we will have it in a few months, time. Right now, do understand that we have launched for about 25 days, and there are a lot of things that we're still working on.
Okay, so what are the hackathon projects that you're most excited about right now? So for me personally, I'm looking at like token bonding curves are exciting, maybe using XSGD and to fund development teams, have a DAI ICO. Also, yeah, I guess there are some projects that can use like ERC 1155 for Zilliqa. Yeah, what about you guys?
I think doing an auction application on top of Zilliqa using the XSGD as the medium, it's very interesting. So there's always the issue with the NFT that is on the Zilliqa chain, which is mostly sold on Mintable. Mintable is just a list to sale market, so there's a fixed price, and um, it's either the buyer takes it or not. So if we have a way that we can do auctions on chain, that would be very cool. I can see one of the project that's actually registered during this hackathon is trying to do that. And I'm looking forward to see what they come up with over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, I guess Dutch auction or something like that, right? Or is it or normal English auction or yeah, I guess any auction mechanism would be interesting. Yeah.
On my end, one of the hackathon ideas that I'm most excited about is particularly about accepting payments and donations, especially in Southeast Asia. Right. Let me introduce a little bit about why that is the case. So Xfers is primarily an API-focused company, and we are focused on enabling payments in Southeast Asia. We are about reinventing financial access in the region. And one of the things that is very common in Southeast Asia is the lack of financial access, especially if you live outside of a city, right? If you live outside of the city, you might not have any, like if you live in the rural areas, you might not have access to a bank account. And even if you want the bank to come and build a physical, bank branch in the area, that is going to be very difficult because it will be close to impossible to woo them to build a physical branch if there are only going to be 300 to 500 customers going to that branch. And this is something that's maybe closer to heart for Singapore, is that in Singapore, every year, a lot of monies go into donations directly to those who need it. And one of the news that came out recently this year in the pandemic is that within the first half year of 2020, Singaporeans donated as much as they would have in an entire year because, they are donating to people who are in need for the pandemic. But however, there are so many middlemen, and due to a lot of these people who need it, maybe they are in the rural areas or they don't have enough financial access. It is very difficult to bring these payments and donations to them. Right? So this is something that we're very interested in seeing, and something that we hope will come through from this hackathon.
Definitely. Something, I guess crowdfunding could be one of the ways that you can do funding for donations, but it also extends to more than that. For example, you can do crowdfunding for an ICO. If you want to build on top of Zilliqa, you can do that on chain. Or you can use crowdfunding to create something like a STO also, if you want to sell certain parts of your tokens there. And you go through the whitelisted addresses accordingly. That registered investors and stuff. But yeah, those are actually good use cases for XSGD itself.
Yeah, also I think for payroll stuff is also exciting because there's so many ICU projects and token projects in Singapore that would have, that might be interested to say pay employees in crypto, and they can, if someone can, develop sort of like a system where people, uh, and the in which the payments can be dynamic, or any interesting use case around that. I guess that's also, I'm also looking forward to seeing something there. Yeah, like companies can maybe just, if they have some token, they can swap for XSGD and pay their employees in XSGD, which I guess employees will also prefer that because they'll be able to directly withdraw and there's no price fluctuation. Yeah.
Hmm. Especially for crypto companies within Singapore, I guess most of them always, if you are coming from overseas and coming here to set up a company, bank accounts are pretty hard to get, hard to come by. So especially, we have seen this happen around with most of the startups that are working with Zilliqa. For example, the Interpol themselves, they have some hard time getting a bank account because the bank doesn't want to take on the risk of not knowing where the funds and revenues come from, and it's also that is kind of circumvented by using stablecoins right now. So they actually do the accounting in terms of stablecoins in USDT for now, and hopefully next time can be used using XSGD as a way for the business to facilitate trade and also to fund their employees.
Yeah, agree. Um, let's see if we have some interesting questions. This answered. Okay, so yeah, Xfers has any plans? You can just, this has been answered before. So any plans to issue stable coins in Southeast Asia? One question is, how about building a stable coin that is pegged to precious metals? Would possibly go really well in Asia? Yeah, I guess so. Like in India specifically, there is a lot of demand for gold. Like gold is considered very precious, and people actually give away gold and hold gold. It's like in the religion as well. Uh, but yeah, anyways, what do you guys think about this?
I can add a little bit about stablecoin that is pegged to precious metals, right? So if you think about the word stablecoin, technically stablecoins are not just about fiat currencies. Stablecoins are just coins that are pegged to something. It can be anything. So if we're talking about a coin that is pegged to precious metals, technically it is also under the umbrella of stablecoins. And it is definitely not out of the story that, stablecoin issuers would go into even precious metals, like you mentioned, uh, real estate backed stablecoins, or even security token offerings, right? Those are things that are already happening in the industry. Unfortunately, these areas are much more regulated than even fiat currencies, right? That we know of companies that are doing this in the background, they're working on it. It will take some more time. After all, in the blockchain industry, we are still considered at the forefront. It is pretty much still in its infancy. So it will take some time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, real estate also has been, so much. I guess real estate tokenization is also, mostly, it's technically you don't need to solve anything, right? It's very simple, but it's mostly just regulatory stuff. Which is, I guess, in Singapore there are, in the recent Zilliqa batch as well. I guess we have a company and that is working on this. Yeah, but yeah.
I guess
Sorry, Hanman.
would be cool is that you can actually take like real estate tokens and then put it as a collateral to borrow stablecoins, which is XSGD, which is taking a loan with that collateral. You don't exactly uh, you don't exactly use the real estate tokens as a way to transfer money because it's regulated, and you need to actually have all the KYC process that's actually done there before you can actually transact this real estate token to someone else. But using the loan route of doing it, it might make more sense. And also to touch on the point, when it comes down to using precious matter, I think there are people who are interested in doing um, tokenized precious matter in Singapore. You see, there's a project in Singapore called DGX that actually does that, and there is also Global Precious Matter, which is a Singapore company that's also trying to do so, and it's very interesting when it comes down to that. But in my personal opinion, I would say that the most that if precious matter is not as good as a wrapped Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a much better gold as compared to gold itself, in my opinion. So that is something that actually that we are very interested in bringing into our ecosystem as a kind of getting a wrapped Bitcoin, just like how it is in the Ethereum ecosystem. It's a question. Any plans on integrating integrating XSGD into debit cards? Which crypto.com is already listed there, I think.
I don't think you can currently top up to the debit card, right? I believe this is something that's in the works. I'm not 100% sure. However, regarding the crypto.com debit card, this is not something that we can comment on. We will need crypto.com to be the one talking about it.
Okay. But that would be cool. Like basically, I can take out, I can deposit my XSGD within a debit card, and then I'll be able to spend it. That I don't actually need to cash out to cash first through an Xfers portal, but I can directly do so.
I see someone is asking what things make sure one XSGD is equal to one SGD. I guess that question is for me. So what makes sure that one XSGD is equal to one SGD? Actually, we can't make sure of that in the market. If you look at other stablecoins in the crypto market, like USDC and USDT, technically their value depends on the market. And there are times, if you look at the price feeds, like on CoinMarketCap or on CoinGecko, that they do have momentary moments where they get off their peg of $1. In those cases, it is up to the market forces like the arbitrages and others, to bring the price back. However, what we promise at Xfers is that if you bring one XSGD back to us and redeem it on our platform, we will definitely give one SGD back to you, to your bank account.
Yes, so in short, redeemability of the token is always available. And the second thing is that if you adopt the process, there's also a third-party attestation report that you can read, just like how you see in the Circus and USDT.
Also, I guess XSGD is like Singaporean bank account holders, they can directly interact with XSGD, right? So they can directly do the arbitrage themselves if they can use the money in the bank account. Is that right? Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. In fact, people can do that on ViewSwap if they want to, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that then it's very simple, because even for like USDC, I'm not sure if they have this like for I guess they have in some jurisdictions, but I'm not sure if that's also the case. But for USDT, you can't do it for sure. Like you can't use your bank account and get USD and then you can't use your bank account to get USDT. So I guess, yeah. Let's see if, and also XSGD is similar to USDC. So the question for MKR for DAI, that's not relevant. It's the XSGD is like USDC. It's a centralized stablecoin. It's not a decentralized stablecoin. It's a regulated sort of centralized stablecoin.
Perhaps, Arnav, would there, maybe along this question about Maker for DAI, is there something similar plans for the Zilliqa ecosystem?
Yeah, I can share more of that. There's a project right now which is in the ecosystem that is trying to use ZIL, the native currency for Zilliqa, as a collateral, as along with other ZRC2 assets such as XSGD to mint a synthetic USD that has as a peg that's maintained to the USD rate. So it's one trying to maintain the peg as long as the collateralization is there. So yeah, the project itself is called Pillars Protocol, and I think the developer himself is going to release more information coming up soon. But it'll be interesting to see people actually create this kind of synthetic stablecoin, which is a debt-based stablecoin, and interact with something like a one-to-one backed stablecoin like XSGD itself, and be it swapped within the ZooSwap exchange or for other purposes, such as probably a curve-like pool.
I would just add on a little bit about this, right? When we talk about building things like Maker for DAI from the Ethereum ecosystem or on the Zilliqa ecosystem, I hope people understand that things on the blockchain work like a network effect. And when we have only one dApp, two dApps, three dApps, the use cases for each dApp is very limited. And when we have a lot more dApps, closer to like the Ethereum ecosystem for the Zilliqa ecosystem, that's when all of these different dApps will then have a lot more use cases. So if you're interested to see something like Maker for DAI on the Zilliqa ecosystem or anything else for that matter, that's what this hackathon is for. And if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, Harun and Pranav, there is a potentiality for people to join the ZooHive program from this hackathon to continue working on the projects that you work on through this hackathon to bring it to the production of the Zilliqa ecosystem. And in fact, that will also help the usability of XSGD on Zilliqa, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So the hackathon itself not only have prizes for the top few winners within the whole span of time of the hackathon, but at the end of the hackathon, you will also gained the qualification to join the ZooHive grants program. So only the top winner will be able to do so, and of which they will be able to receive a grant of $15,000, and that will help them fund their development process further than just what is provided during the hackathon.
Right. I see a question about, for hackathon, do we need to work on the Zilliqa version or the Ethereum version, or both can also work out? I believe you have to be working on the Zilliqa version for this hackathon.
Yeah, you need to work on the Zilliqa version.
Yeah, that's definitely the case.
It's
Except for
Zilliqa.
the case of the bridge, like that's actually one category of the one challenge within the whole hackathon, which is basically creating a simple bridge between the ERC20 and the ZRC2 version. And there's already someone who signed up a project for that. So that's the only one that, with the exception that that will involve the Ethereum version.
Yeah. Or if you have any other idea as well, maybe which we couldn't have thought of, you can work on that. Yeah, for ERC20 or bridging or doing something around that eventually will use Zilliqa, I suppose. Yeah, there's a question, I guess, on the business model of Xfers. It's like, how will Xfers benefit? Uh, yeah, so how will they benefit if they're releasing own stablecoin and make sure one STD is one XSGD? So yeah, I guess that's just a business model question.
Right. I can't tell everyone what's our business secret, right? But I can say that if you look around the world, there are a lot of people trying to be stablecoin issuers. There must be something that you can gain from that. If you look at USDC, they do the same thing. You have one USD for each one USDC. How will Coinbase or Circle get benefit, right? And I'm sure if you ask them the same question, they will not answer you. It's a business secret.
It will only be told to the hackathon winners. Yeah.
Yes, so more benefit to play the hackathon and don't let all your dreams be dreams, right? Work on the hackathon. If you think that any other blockchains have certain things that the Zilliqa ecosystem doesn't have, and you're asking question about it, why not work on it?
So question, if my company is not in Singapore, can I still accept XSGD? The answer is yes, you can. But for Xfers account, I'll let Jun Hao to answer.
So Hongwen is correct. You may accept XSGD because XSGD is on the blockchain, right? So we don't have control over who transacts over the blockchain, so you can. However, on the Xfers platform itself, because we are licensed by MES as an e-money issuer, that's something that we cannot do for you yet right now. But you can accept it on the blockchain.
So I guess the biggest question probably is that how much of it's probably how are you planning to build up the liquidity within the Singapore context in order for other people to accept it as a currency?
Right. Same thing, it's also a business secret. We are already building up the liquidity. And I guess I can share with you the one thing that most stablecoins already do to do that. I can't share too much beyond that. If you look at most of the stablecoins that have been released, one of the first ways to jumpstart the liquidity is to start getting integrated into exchanges, whether they are centralized, decentralized. And I'm happy to say that up to today, 29th October, we have somewhere between 5 to 10 exchanges, whether they are decentralized or centralized, that we're already integrated to. And towards the end of this year, we will continue to do that. Beyond that, there are a lot of other things that we are working on. Even if I can share it with you, it is too early for me to share them with you guys. And in fact, we really have quite a good liquidity pool. One of the things that we have realized after studying the stablecoin market is that historically, stablecoins that are non-USD based have problems getting liquidity, right? There are a lot of non-USD stablecoins out there that even after existing for more than 2 years, they have found it extremely difficult to breach 5 million in market cap. For XSGD, within 3 weeks of launching, we have already breached 2 million in market cap. And that is one of the milestones that we highly celebrate. And hopefully we would breach this problematic 5 million really soon.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. And that will be one of the biggest milestone for a Singapore company that's within the blockchain industry thus far, I would say. And also for us, also at Zilliqa. Because I would believe that the 5 million will come from CRC2 version.
I see another question. Is Xfers going to bring a crypto exchange where stocks and crypto can both be traded? We are already integrated to exchange where crypto can be traded. And as we mentioned in the previous answer, when we talk about stocks, stocks are governed under Securities Act. That is a different beast in terms of regulations. We do know of exchanges who are working on getting stocks tokenized and will be able to be traded. We are talking to them, and once they are ready, once they have been given the green light by regulators, we will definitely bring them on board our ecosystem.
So there's one question which is, are there any Zilliqa dApps that you can play around with, that you can download on your phone and play around it? I guess you can start using Zilshop. You can't use it on your phone, but you can. Yeah, you can. It's almost the same. Like it's. I guess you just want to play around with it, so you can do it on your browser. We have Moonlit Wallet, which you can use on your phone. Maybe if you want your private keys to be stored on the phone, then for that you can use that to interact with dApps, I suppose. But any other like mobile specific dApp, I guess there was Zilliqa Planet, but that's not uh, active right now. There's not much development happening there. Um, yeah, so you can play around with Zilshop for now, I suppose.
We'll say the first wave of applications would probably be a desktop-based, web-based applications. SocialPay itself, it works on the phone too. If you tried SocialPay before, but it's a very simple version of it. There's not a lot of native applications that's being built on the within the ecosystem for iOS or Android. Yeah, most of it's web-based.
Yeah, also you can try out Mintable. That's also one that I just came to mind. So you can play around with NFTs and try to build. It's very cheap to uh, build your own NFT on Mintable. So zilliqa.mintable.app. You can go there and try to see the exciting NFTs there, and there are more going to be coming soon, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. So, Juno, can you take this company working on XSGD? This question.
All right. So I see a question. Someone's asking whether companies working on XSGD needs to get any license to work in SG jurisdiction, or it's handled by Xfers. This question seems like a landmine in a way. Why? Because one of the things that you have seen recently, all of you must have seen recently, is that it really doesn't matter where you work on, which jurisdiction you work on, something like BitMEX. There are a lot of regulations that goes beyond boundaries, right? So for this, it really depends on what you are working on with XSGD. The best is to consult a lawyer. Or if you join the ZooHive program, we are here to help you.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess we can take like the last two questions. Will XSGD be listed on Switcho's Trade Hub? Once the breach for the breach that we're working on for ERC and also to ZRC2 versions is available, that's actually linking through the Trade Hub itself, which is a Switcho Trade Hub. So theoretically, we are not connecting just Ethereum and Zilliqa together. It's also the Cosmos Tendermint chains and Neo chain and Ontology chain all at once. So I would say yes, yeah, because Switcho Trade Hub is actually based on Tendermint, and there's already some bridging of Neo-based assets to the Switcho chain thus far. And once they enable the Ethereum side bridging and also the Zilliqa side bridging, then they will be able to access their CRC2 or ERC20 version of XSGD within their trade hub using a lock-min mechanism. And you'll be able to trade XSGD there. I think probably I want to ask this question to you also, Junhao, is that are you guys planning to have XSGD as a base pair for exchanges?
Do you mean whether or not there are any exchanges who are using XSGD as a base pair?
Yes. So for example, like USDT, the reason why it kind of blown up because uh, the exchanges among themselves, they actually requires a mechanism for which they can exchange money across exchanges without using the wire, which might take like 3 to 5 days. So Bitfinex is acting as the custodian of the
Ah,
USDT, and then the exchanges actually exchange the money around um, in order to facilitate trade between each other. So do you have any plans for that within the local exchanges?
yes, so currently, due to the nature of the project, we are both released on the Ethereum blockchain and on the Zilliqa blockchain. Most of the exchanges that are already integrated have started integrating the ERC20 version because they already have the technologies to integrate it. One of the examples that I know that already uses XSGD as the base pair is tokenized exchange, uh, something that's more local, and something that's more international would be CoinNut. And we are actively in talks with all the exchanges that we work with to use the XSGD ZRC2 version. As far as I know, there are already a few conversations going on. Unfortunately, this will take some time due to the nature of the Zilliqa blockchain, that not every exchange already have the plugs integrated.
Yeah, I guess we don't have any more questions. So I guess that we can wrap this up. Any any other things you want to share? Any suggestions for hackathon participants? We have, I think, 10 more days left. So even if you are starting right now, you can. I personally just build it when I'm participating in hackathons. Usually do it at the last moment. So it's mostly 2-3 days before. So you can start working right now as well. And so there are, like, I guess, around 10 prizes, around 7-8 winners or something. So if you build something that works, has a good demo, there's a very high chance you'll win something. It's not like there are only 2 or 3 people that will get all the prizes. So yeah, from my side, I think everyone should try to build something. Any interesting idea you have, that we have some themes already on the website, but any other interesting idea you have, and then you can build that. And for winners, they'll also get a chance, as Junhao has been shilling about Zilhive. So they'll get a chance to be part of Zilhive. And I guess we can give some preference to hackathon winners as well, for the grant application. Yeah, that's what that's what I have in mind for hackathon participants right now. Yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what people can build. So far, there's like 13 projects, and a few of them looks quite interesting thus far. And we're looking for more applicants for the hackathon itself. The prizes is not shabby. I think it's quite attractive for the first place, especially because it's weighing bulk of the whole 10K that's allocated to this hackathon.
On mine, I would just like to reiterate what I was talking about earlier. At Xfers, we are very, very interested to see more depths in the ecosystem due to the network effect. Just having the XSGD, having unstoppable domains, and very few other depths will allow for us to not have that much use cases. Having a lot more depths will really boost our use cases exponentially. So try not to just aim for just winning any category, right? Try to go for the highest category and get into Zilhive. That's why I keep shilling it. We are very excited to see it in production rather than just as a proof of concept.
Yeah, everyone has to start small. and this is a place for a platform for you to launch your product that you want to build.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, we hit the 1 hour mark for the live stream, and yeah, thanks Chanwan and Junhao for joining today. And if you guys have any questions, both of everyone is available on Discord and Telegram. You can reach out to us, and we'll be happy to answer them. And yeah, hope to see some more exciting projects soon, and finally get them funded for the live as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks everyone. Okay.
Cool. Bye. Take
Thank
care,
you,
guys.
everyone.